Hello everyone, my name is Jay. Welcome to another episode of Hackmastering Roll20, where we learn to use the Roll20 virtual tabletop system to play Hackmaster, the role-playing game. And today I want to talk about combat maneuvers and token modifiers. You've probably seen token modifiers before, but this is going to be a bunch of scripts that will automate a lot of what you need to do. Again, I keep stating this, but for a player, you don't have to really worry about any of this stuff. But when you're running an encounter with 30 kobolds or a whole bunch of things, it's really hard to remember who's got defense or attack penalties from what. So I'm going to show you something that I came up with relatively recently to help automate this. So first thing is we are going to have to install a mod again. So let's look here into our API settings. Now this mod, however, is a trusted mod. It's like an official one that a lot of people use. So you can see the ones that we already added before. These all we got from GitHub or where have you. But this one, there's a Roll20 API script library. There's a lot of cool mods on here that do a lot of different things. But the one we are going to use is called TokenMod. Okay, and this has, see, it's all documented on here and everything, but all I'm going to go down here and do is hit add script, and now, there we go, it's officially on. So, let's go back and see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. As it loads, let's just move into the picture again. Okay, so status modifiers. That's the token status modifiers is what we're looking at. And what are those? Well, those are, when you click on a character, character's token, this little window comes up and this button has a whole bunch of status mods. And you can put them on to show all kinds of different things. Now, you are very much limited to what Roll20 has preloaded in here. And to be honest, a lot of these make no damn sense. But there is another script that will let you customize your own status mods, but we're going to save that for another day. So what you really need to do before anything else is decide what these symbols mean. And personally, I have decided that this symbol here is a negative to attack, right? So you see the guy's like, oh, my back a set. If you click on it, it toggles it on or off. If you press a number, that adds a number in there. So to me, this would indicate that this null now has a -3 to hit. That's just the easiest way to remember it. Because, unfortunately, it does not do negative numbers. It just only adds positive integers. And it only goes up to 9. So anything above 9, it's not really going to work. But again, if something has a bonus or negative beyond 9, you're probably going to remember that anyways. So this is what I'm using for negative to hit. And this is what I'm using for a negative to defense. Okay, so the broken shield is a negative to defense. The horrific back pain is a negative to attack. That was important to establish right away because I have, like I said, a bunch of macros that automate a lot of the different attack maneuvers. So if you want to make an aggressive attack, that gives a negative to your defense. And an easy way to remember that, let's say this goblin comes up over here and he's going to make an aggressive attack. So I've made a macro for that. And again, the macros will all be in the description. So this is the aggressive attack macro. I will roll it. And again, it's not really worth keeping on here, but I will roll it for him. And we see the goblin made an attack. He got an 11, did 9 damage, okay. But you can see on here, it's showing d20 plus 5 for the aggressive attack, and then plus his normal 3. But the other thing you can see, and maybe I'll zoom in a little, is that he also now has a -2 defense. It was automatically applied when I hit the aggressive attack macro. If I hit it again, it goes up to 4. So you can use this on all kinds of monsters. Again, it won't work with... it'll still add the tokens if you hit a PC, but it is a lot easier to keep track of a lot of monsters with this. So similarly, I've made a bunch of other ones in the same vein. So let's just look at some of the more basic ones. We have defense, give ground. So that would require, let's say, okay, now Baradin is going to attack this guy back. All right, he wants to give ground. It is, oh, he fumbled. Okay, well, that's a special case. But I've also added a couple of other things in here. It says he must move back at a walk. So it's a reminder how far you want to move him back. And if you can't remember how far he goes, you hit detail. So I got to move him back 2.5 to do this. Of course, Baradin could just follow him. Can you use this against a charge? No. That's a very specific thing that's listed in it. And of course, you can see that he now has a -1 to attack. But let's say that wasn't really good enough for him. Obviously, Baradin just stepped forward. Maybe he will scamper back instead now. And again, scampering back, defense 23, pretty good. And remember, these are used as a reaction when someone attacks you, right? You don't just do it normally. But you can see he's got his +5 for scampering back. And it added +4 to his -4 negative to his next attack. So now he's got a total of -5. And when he does make his attack, I will have to just sort of mentally remember that that's there. Well, I mean, I can see it, but I'll have to include it. Like, I'll make his attack roll and then just have to, in my head, subtract 5. And then I can just hit this to clear it. And now he's back to normal. There are a couple of other ones that are a little bit differently. We have the fighting defensively. So when you fight defensively, again, you can see the actual macro in here. But when you fight defensively, you choose how much of a negative to have. So if I take a -2 to my attack, then I will get if I get a +2 to my defense, I should say, I will get a -4 to my next attack. So I'll just click that. And as you can see, it added 2 to the defense roll. He got a total of 14. And that, in fact, gave him a -4 to his next attack. It is double. This only goes up to 4, though, so the worst this could do is -8. The other one is, it's not going to really show up here as well because I don't have an initiative set up, but there is one for full parry. And what full parry does, adds +5, because that's what full parry does. But also, it's hard, you can't really see it right now, but what it also does is it also advances the token by their weapon speed in the count. And that is because parrying does reset your count. So remember before I mentioned I don't like to put things that adjust the count in these macros. This is a special case. A parry, is very specific when it happens, and you're usually a little bit more careful with it. But yeah, so that's what that one does. And I believe the only one left. Yeah. Okay, so the other one that I've added is tactical movement. Once you're in melee combat, if you want to move for whatever reason, you have to take a tactical move, and that lets you move your walk speed, but you accrue a -1 to your next attack and defense, and it keeps happening every time you move your walk speed. So if this goblin wanted to just move, like it wasn't a reaction to Baradin attacking him, it was just a tactical move, I could move him, and I've made it into a token thing, so hit tactical move, boom. And now that has increased both his defense and attack penalty by 1. And if I had an initiative going, that increases his count by 1. Usually the only time you use this is when you've got like a whole bunch of guys just running around and in combat and stuff. So it's not as big a deal then. If you don't want that, you can just take out the EOT part, which it is right there. You can just take that part off and just use it to give the flat -1. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward stuff, but the automation really does help. It helps you remember a lot of negatives, and once you also have set yourself a standardized sort of nomenclature of what is a negative to hit, what is a negative to defense, you can use that for also whenever you have critical hit results and things like that. I hope that this has helped. I'll post all of these in the description again, and if anyone has any other questions on how to use these or what else might be good to automate, or has any ideas for me, like what else I should do, please let me know in the comments or on Facebook or what have you. All right? Until next time, good gaming.